next topic is quality culture using Kaizen model. Kaizen is a Japanese word. It means continuous improvement. And it is a methodology used for continuous improvement in improving the process of any function of the organization. The aim of Kaizen is to eliminate the waste, and our speaker who is going to talk in details about Kaizen is Mr. Jayanth Murthy. Jayanth joined Kaizen Institute with its Africa and Asia Pacific operation on the year of 1999. He moved to become founding partner and director of Kaizen Africa operation. Later was invited by Kaizen India as a partner and director. Since joining the Kaizen Institute, he has been associated with a wide variety of organizations, both in the private sector and public sector. He is a Fulbright Fellow of Carnegie Mellon of University in the USA. Jayanth has advised some governments in different parts of the world. He now heads the business growth function across India, Africa, Middle East, and he is a visiting professor at the National Institute of Design in India. He is a regular speaker on the National International Seminar relating to operation management. Please welcome with me Mr. Jayanth Murthy to talk about Kaizen. You have 25 minutes.
Is your presentation, sir?
Yep.
Okay, sir.
Somewhere here?
Is there your presentation inside?
Yeah. Where is it?
I don't know, sir. We will check now.
Can somebody help me?
So we check. There's
No.
Arabic.
Can you ask somebody there, those people?
This presentation is written in Arabic.
I had already loaded my presentation.
Yeah.
It's called Jayanth, I'm sorry.
Which one for this?
No. I gave it to
Second day.
It's called Jayanth.
Oh, it's not here. وين محمد الشايع؟
Jayanth, is that you see?
No.
Yes. No, the other one. Great, thank you. Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm aware that there are some this crowd is consisting of extremely educated people. And I'm not very sure whether I'm qualified to speak in front of such an august gathering. But I'm going to make an attempt to take you through some very, very simple concepts which we have been using very effectively. I would like to start off with a visual, which is a very simple visual. And I would encourage all of you to look at this and reflect for a few seconds. Now, what you see is a very interesting representation of an organization. If I am permitted, then I would like to say that this represents an organization, probably this represents the education system, this represents a school, this represents an education district, and you will see that it is a very interesting picture where there are a few people trying to give it direction, to pull it forward. There are, of course, a few people trying to push it and take it forward. And it is definitely going towards a particular destination. Now, my question is, do you think this organization, this cart, will reach its destination? What will be the kind of resources that you will require to reach there? And very, very often when you sit down to start discussing why an organization, why a system, why a school, why an office, why a ministry is not delivering its services or goods in time or in full, then oftentimes the discussion leads to some very interesting points of view. Very often people say, oh, the cart is not moving because the road is bad. So very often people say that the problem lies with the education policy. If the policy is changed, everything else will be okay. Some people will say, oh, the reason why the cart is not moving is because we don't have enough lubrication in the wheels. If you lubricate the wheels with probably more computers, more labs, I don't know, lubricate it with more resources, then probably the cart will start moving faster. And this process continues. And very interestingly, you see that you have some people in the front who are leading it, some people pushing it. And if I take the analogy, and if I'm permitted to say, the people in the front are the ministry, and the people who are pushing it are the real people, the people from the schools, for example, the teachers, the school community. And very soon you will find a situation where the people pulling it say, you know what, the people behind are not pushing. And oftentimes the people behind say that the people in the front, the leaders, are not giving enough direction. And this results in a lot of distrust. It's a very common situation. So I would really like to ask in this TQM on K-12 education, TQM's event, can we see really the square wheels? Can we see the square wheels across the education value chain, right from the ministry, at the school district levels, within the schools, within the classrooms? Are we able to see these square wheels? Because it is these square wheels that affects the progress of your plans. You might have great plans, but if you have a lot of square wheels in the processes, in the way we do things, in the way we function, I think that's where the problem arises. And very interestingly, if I go back to this particular thing, to this particular picture, you will see that it has square wheels, but it is carrying some load. And the load, you will notice, are some round wheels. So, interestingly, the round wheels are also within us. The solutions are also within the very organization which is facing those square wheels. But what we need to develop is we need to develop an ability to see those square wheels and replace them with the round wheels. And this process of identifying and eliminating the square wheels in our day-to-day processes is called Kaizen, or continual improvement, as the person who introduced me very rightly said. So Kai means change, and Zen means better, and put together it means continual improvement. And it says continual improvement every day, everywhere, involving everyone. It is not someday, someone, and somewhere, but it is every day, everyone, and everywhere. I think that's the difference. But very often if you go to organizations, the sad story is no one, no day, and nowhere engaged in improvement, and most people are busy doing the routine. So this journey from no day, no one, nowhere, to someday, someone, somewhere, to every day, everyone, everywhere, that journey is the journey of continual improvement. So the more square wheels we are able to identify, reduce, and eliminate, I think the more improvement the organization sees. So my point here is, can we identify these square wheels? And if I am permitted to use an Arabic word, I don't know whether my pronunciation will be correct, it's called waste, or muda is called hadar. And this square wheels means waste or hadar. And there are hundreds and hundreds of square wheels in our day-to-day operations. I remember we were working in a school, in a primary school, and we engaged students and we taught them what is Hadar. And you'll be surprised, maybe you won't be surprised, these primary school students could understand what is Muda, what is waste, what is Hadar and Kaizen much faster than the elders. And we did a very interesting experiment. We taught them what is waste, what is Hadar, and we told them if you do not eliminate Hadar, then you're going to have problems. And we gave them a signature campaign. We said, okay, take this sheet, and this is the concept of Kaizen, this is the concept of waste, and go and explain this to your neighbor, your friend, your relatives, and for every explanation you give, you get a signature. And these students were very enthusiastic. They came back and we had a little fun, a little game. If you bring back 50 signatures, you get a baseball cap. You bring back 100 signatures, you get maybe a CD or a DVD. And this way, very quickly, we could transmit the concept of waste and how you should eliminate waste in day-to-day things to thousands of children. A very interesting experiment. And these children could identify waste in their library, in the school, how it takes time to search books. And they started thinking, how can we organize it better so that we need less time to find the books? So they got involved in identification of waste, they got involved in Kaizen at the school level. But I'm not only just talking about the school level. You have to start from the top. And I had an opportunity to be with some of the officers in the ministry here, and there is a desperate need for Kaizen there. So what really happens? We have a very simple model. Kaizen is actually, it's not rocket science. It is common sense, but applied uncommonly well. And we have a simple model. If you have to implement Kaizen, then you have to understand the 4P model. The first P is people involvement. No improvement can happen unless you engage everyone in the process of identifying Hadar and eliminating Hadar. That is the first pillar, people involvement. The second P is physical workplace improvement. I'm sorry, but when I went to some of the offices, not only in Saudi Arabia, but in so many other countries, when you go to the ministries, you find that some of the offices are in complete disarray. They are disorganized. They have clocks hanging on the wall which have stopped. You have old posters, old calendars, old files, paper, mess. How can you talk of quality when your offices are in mess? So I think the first and foremost is physical workplace improvement. You cannot get great quality unless you have great physical workplace. You have to be organized, clean, and this is not rocket science. This is basic common sense. But as I told you, you need to drive this culture across, starting from the very top. And whenever I visit ministries in many countries, of course, the offices of the super bosses are always beautiful, clean. But when you go to the belly, when you go to the engine room where really the people are working, they're disorganized in most cases. And I'm sad to say this. I also noticed this in some of the offices right here. So the second P is physical workplace improvement. People involvement, physical workplace improvement. The third P is, it is not only about making your workplace organized, but the third P is process improvement. You need to take processes and eliminate waste in these processes so the processes become simpler, faster, and more efficient. And there are hundreds of processes happening within the ministry, between the ministry and the school district, between the school district and the school, within the schools. And the whole idea is how do you map processes? How do you eliminate waste, rework? How do you eliminate poor quality in the processes? How do you eliminate waiting time? And this is what we call as the process improvement. And finally, the fourth P is called policy review. Whenever we start doing process improvements, we find that policies become a roadblock in process improvement. And people come back and say, you know what, if you change the policy, the process will automatically improve. So there is an interplay between policy and process. And that's why a very high power committee is required, a team is required to look at policies which are affecting processes, because policy precedes processes. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very simple proposition. You have to do Kaizen by involving everybody. On one hand, you have to improve your physical workplace. On the other hand, you have to do process improvement, and you also have to look at your policies. Please remember the 4 Ps. And I always believe remembering a few things is better than bombarding people with a lot of concepts. 4 Ps. Take that away with you. And what is the impact? We are working with several ministries in different governments, and the impact is phenomenal. The 4P, the Kaizen process, is very user-friendly. It's not some complex jargon, so people adopt it. They think it is their own, and you're able to start Kaizen activities at various levels. And we have seen that it immediately results in people engagement. If people don't get engaged in improvement, no improvement can take place. No quality improvement can take place with any external force or external agency. It has to come from within the people. So engagement is very important. Of course, you see processes becoming simpler, workplace getting organized and clean, and a lot of other benefits that you normally witness. And I personally think there's a huge potential and need for introducing the concept of Kaizen in the young minds, because it's the youth which is the future. And you'll be surprised that the youth can take up to these concepts of improvement, hazard elimination more readily than some of we adults. So I urge the ministry here to think of innovative and creative ways of introducing the concept of Kaizen. I'll share with you an example, probably last 2-3 minutes. We started an experiment in a small island nation called Mauritius way back in 2001. And we started putting an advertisement in the TV before the news in the evening. And the advertisement just had a blank screen, and you had a big word coming, Muda, in French and English. Muda means waste, hadar. And it would slowly vanish and go away from the screen. And it would say, eliminate Muda for a better living. That was what came on the TV. So people started wondering, what is this Muda? No explanation was given. And the children would start asking the mother and father, what is this Muda on TV? What is this Muda? And the father didn't know, and he had to go and find out what Muda was. It was a very interesting experience, and this ran for about a year, and slowly people started finding out and getting curious, what is Muda? And this experiment was an interesting experiment in the island nation of Mauritius, and where thousands of people were trained, thousands of projects were implemented. In fact, it was one of the first nations to adopt a Kaizen as a national strategy. And we are very happy that we were involved in that process. I just want to quickly end by saying conferences and such events are fantastic to share ideas, but Kaizen doesn't happen in a conference room. Kaizen doesn't happen in training rooms. You can't learn swimming through correspondence course. You can't learn swimming in a training room. You have to jump into the swimming pool. And that is called Gemba. That means the real place. So if you have to really implement, if you really have to drive improvements, you have to go to the real place. You have to engage with the real people. You have to collect real data, understand the real situation, find real solutions, and finally implement it in a real hurry. Far too much happens, far too much discussions on quality and improvement happens in classrooms, meetings rooms, and in 5-star hotels. But I think it is time to take them to the real place. The place where the offices are, the place where the school is, the place to the classroom maybe. And you have to engage the real people in this process. So I would just end there with a small suggestion that the fish always rots from the top. I'm very happy that Saudi Arabia has been very open, with an open arm. They have been looking at this concept of Kaizen and many other quality systems. And they are very clear that this process of change must start from the top, at the ministerial level. We have to take it to schools, and finally, we have to take it to the kids, because they are the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jayanth.